So this meeting of the Historic District Commission will take place in a webinar format through Zoom. The chair of the commission is Sarah Moriarty. The host of the webinar is the building officials. Staff attending this meeting includes Inglis and Linda Galetta. Anyone speaking should state their names prior to speaking each time. The panelists in this webinar meeting will be the commission members and the building staff. Panelists who would like to comment on an item should indicate such by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. After a panelist raises their hand, they will be able to comment one at a time when called upon by the chairperson. Panelists should mute their microphones until called upon. To make a motion or second a motion, commission members can raise a hand and be acknowledged by the host or chair. Panelists calling into this meeting by telephone may raise or lower their hand by pressing *9. To mute or unmute your call, press *6. To vote on a motion, commission members will be called upon individually by the chair to vote. The public can participate in the meeting during the public communications agenda item. The public will be asked to raise their hand during the public communications if they want to speak at this time by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. The public will be called upon by the host one at a time and will be able to speak during this time. Attendees must identify themselves before speaking.
Thank you, Peter. All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order on July 20th at 7:05, and I'm going to appoint Bill Ferguson in place of Bonnie Nault. And Todd, if you want to read the call.
Sure. Dear Matt, please publish the following public notice or one insertion on Monday, July 12, 2021. Town of Groton notice of public hearing, Historic District Commission. The Historic District Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, July 20, 2021 at 7 p.m. virtually via the Zoom platform to hear the following applications requesting a certificate of appropriateness. HDC 21-40, 3 Water Street, 3 Water Street LLC owner, Marisa Lebrecht, applicant, signage, PIN number 2619183087881. A Zoom meeting link will be posted to the town's website meetings calendar or can be attended by visiting www.zoom.us. Webinar ID 86913505241, password 9748824. Or by phone 1-312-626-6799. Access to electronic equipment at the Town Hall Annex for the purposes of attending, participating in the meeting shall be provided to any member of the public who provides a written request to the Office of Planning and Development not less than 24 hours prior to the meeting. Applications are on file and available for public inspection during normal business hours at the Planning Department, 134 Groton Long Point Road, Groton, Connecticut, dated this 12th day of July, 2021 at Groton, Connecticut. Todd Brady, Secretary.
Thank you, Todd. All right, I will call HDC 21-36, 20 Pearl Street, John McCarrick, owner applicant. Mr. McCarrick?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Good evening.
All right, you are all set to make your presentation, Mr. McCarrick. You just
All
need
right.
to yourself.
I've been before the commission before to replace the windows in a small addition. What I would like to do is also replace the clapboard on the home and the exterior trim. That's the first one on this new application. And the second was to create a pergola in the backyard, which I don't know if that has to go before the commission. It's possibly visible from the north side of the house on Pearl Street. And I have some pictures later on which shows where the pergola would be in the backyard, the view of the backyard from Gravel Street and Pearl Street to show you what you would see and not see. The Burrell siding is a really high quality siding and trim that would really reproduce what's on the house currently. I think with a really superior product. That's our house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's just the plot plan on the house right there. And those were from previous presentations. That was already approved, that addition on the side. And it's the old rectory house right on Pearl. If you keep going down, you'll come to an actual photo of the front of the house to remind you where it might be. Okay. And if you continue down that next picture, that's where that addition will be that's been approved. There are some other, these must have been from my first presentation, but if you go one more down, that is the view of the house from Pearl Street, that is a empty lot, but a potential building lot. And the pergola will be behind the privacy fence, which is right now incomplete because we had to take a tree down. And if you continue down, I have it sort of outlined in the backyard. That is the view. You can't see the backyard from the other side of the house on Pearl Street. And the next two photos are from the house from gravel. And really the garages will obstruct the view of the backyard. You really can't see our backyard from Pearl. And my son-in-law is actually in the yard holding up a piece of wood that would be the height of the pergola. If you go down further, that'll show up eventually. Again, those are the views from Gravel Street of the house. And that is the pergola that we're proposing to put up. It will be of pressure treated pine, but we'll be painting it white with the top of the rafters going to about 8 feet 6 inches. The posts are 8 feet square with the overhang 1.5 feet all around. And that's an actual photo of what it would look like. But we're going to actually paint it white with marine white paint.
Will the pergola be set in the ground or just on top of the ground?
No, it'll be attached to the ground.
How so?
We're gonna be redoing this patio back here with I don't know. It will be set in with concrete right in the patio, in line with this redone patio. But that's where the 4 posts would be at those 4 corners. And that's how tall it should be to the top of the rafters. And again, that was a close-up from Pearl Street of a picture I had shown you earlier. That's actually with a little telescopic view to take away some of the brush that's along Pearl Street right now. And again, that privacy fence is going to be rebuilt. And that's the last I have on the pergola. This, if you haven't seen it, is the information of the true exterior siding from Burrell. I mean, I think it's that polyash siding. It's a very nice product, resistant to bugs and water. That just shows you it's reversible. One side is smooth, which is the side we would use, and it would reproduce the dimensions of the house accurately. And the trim on the house, it doesn't have any very ornate trim. It's really just, as you saw from the initial pictures, you know, just 2x4s or 2x6s of really framing the windows. And this polyash side product would be on the trim as well, painted white. So it would really truly reproduce what's on the house right now.
What you going to use this trim board too, this PVC, or are you going to use?
No, well, I'm going to use the trim board from, not the Versatech. I have go down one more, and I have the trim board product from True Exterior. I'm going to use the polyash. It really, especially the price on the trim is really comparable, and I think it's a better product than PVC.
Yeah, it doesn't move as much.
It'll paint and really hold the paint better than PVC.
Are you doing the entire house?
Yes, yes. Yeah, we're going to do the addition, but we're going to do re-side the entire house so we can get some insulation underneath it and wrap it as well.
I personally don't have any questions or comments for the applicant. Does anyone have any additional questions or comments?
No.
My only question was, oh, sorry, that's my knucklehead cat. My only question was the post that your son was holding.
Sure. Oh, that was just an
Was-
example. That wasn't the post that's going to be used. That was
Right,
just.
that was just to show the height.
Yes.
And so I was just wondering if we can go back to Mary's, the view from Mary's driveway, slide 24, 25, I think.
24, sure.
Oh, keep go. No, the next one. So like, you're saying you wouldn't even see it because of,
I
Go
don't
out.
believe you are. It's mostly behind the garage on the left.
yeah, Mary's.
That's where the majority of the pergola will be.
Okay. Okay, and I just wanted to kind of get,
And, you know, that's,
put the
at
two,
the-
two
the windows
pictures
they
together,
say
so
they're-
to speak.
yeah, the windows you can see they're at really at the second story,
Right.
right
Okay.
there.
Okay. That was my only clarification.
Were you concerned about seeing it, Bill, or were you wondering?
Well, no, but I think on one of your last HDC meetings, you wanted to, for somebody else, you wanted to see what the view from the other street was going to be.
Correct.
So I put them in.
Right. And again, it wasn't a concern. It was just, I wanted to see what people
Sure.
would see. So if it was
Yep.
ever brought
Yep.
back to our attention. we
Yeah,
addressed
no, and exactly. And that's, I don't think they would see anything.
Yeah, okay. And that's what I thought, but I just wanted, like I said, clarification.
I don't think it matters if I could see it or not.
I mean, I think it'll really be appropriate for what else is in the area.
Yeah, I agree.
Any other comments, concerns, or?
No, and it's a great presentation. I think you did a good job showing where it was going to be located.
Yes.
Where it was-
Thank you.
All right, does the applicant have anything additional that he'd like to add?
No, I'm good.
All right, thank you. Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? HDC 21-36 is closed.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. HDC 21-40, 3 Water Street LLC, owner Marissa LeBrecq, applicant. I think I saw her earlier.
I'm here.
Ah, very good. All right, you can present your application.
Perfect. So we are opening a confection space in the new 3 Water Street building, unit 101. So right when you walk up the stair, the main stairs, it's the unit that's right on the left. So we'd like to put 2 signs up, one on the front of the building on like the bottom right where the rest of the signage of what is there is. That sign is 14 by 48. And then a second sign that's right outside of the door of the unit, that'll be 18 by 18. Both are just dark blue, like dark navy blue with copper writing. If you scroll down, I did. So this is the first one. So it's right next to the door. And then if you scroll down again, that would be it on the front of the building. And then if you scroll down one more time, you can kind of just see where both are. The one on the bottom right-hand corner, and then the one in like the middle next to where the door is. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the signs. And they're not to scale, I'm so sorry.
So this is your actual sign.
No,
That's just photoshopped on there. Eric is painting the signs. So
Eric himself is painting the sign?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure if
all
Eric
of them.
himself is painting the signs, but
That was my only concern with this application, with Eric was gonna paint the sign, to be honest.
in his
I'm-
own time.
A little confused. Is this what your sign's gonna look like?
Yes, the only difference is it has a copper border around the outside. I just this was the picture that I was given from the person that designed it.
So it's gonna say ATY Hospitality.
Yes.
Okay, that's where I was, I guess I
Oh,
wasn't.
yes, I'm sorry.
So I
It
just
will,
wanna make sure.
it's ATY Confections. The sign says ATY Hospitality. I'm sorry.
So it's going to say
on-
ATY Confections
It's going to say ATY Hospitality.
Hospitality. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Sarah, she said that's not the scale, what we're looking at.
That's a Photoshop of it.
I photoshopped that on. It's not the scale.
That's totally fine. I think I was getting confused. I was getting tripped up on my own, trying to connect hospitality and confections. I wasn't sure if it was a different sign she was using for an example, or if that was actually what was going to be on the sign.
You were thinking it was a hotel.
Yes.
I also think it might be a hotel one day.
Okay, but so long as it says what it says it's going to say, I'm fine.
Yep. Unless Eric knows otherwise, I'm almost positive it says hospitality. I haven't heard that it would say confections.
I don't have any other questions or comments now that that's cleared up. Does anybody else?
No,
Okay. Thank you. Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? Okay, HGC 21-40 is closed. I will open up public hearings. The first one is HDC 36. I think it might be 36, HDC 21-36, 20 Pearl Street. Thank you, Peter. Owner applicant John McGarrick. This was the replacing of the siding and trim and the pergola. Any comments or motions?
Looks fine to me.
All right.
Agreed.
I think it looks nice. I'll move to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Moriarty, aye. Ferguson,
Aye.
Levinson,
I
Brady,
Aye.
Goodman.
think you're muted, Eric.
No, can you hear me?
Now I
Yeah,
can.
now-
Only when you're close, not when you're leaned back.
Thanks.
Did you say aye? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you. The application is
Distracted painting the sign, I think.
Hey, I painted all those signs.
HDC 21-43 Water Street, Free Water Street owner, Marissa LeBrecq applicant. This was the signage. I have any comments or motions?
I'll
Move
make a
to
motion
approve.
Oh.
Did you make the motion and Ferguson second? I just so
We
Linda
made the
can-
motion to approve at the same time, so I'll second Don's.
all in favor, Moriarty, aye. Goodman,
I was abstaining.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Brady.
Aye.
The application is approved. All right, do we have, my screen's kind of funny. I can't see if we have anybody in the audience. I don't think we do. I don't think so. So no pre-application hearings tonight.
Don't
Can
see any
you-
hands.
Hey.
Yes, all right. So then moving on to public communications. Peter or Linda, anything there?
Nope.
All right, approval of the minutes from July 6, 2021.
I move to approve the minutes of July 6, 2021.
I will second that. Moriarty, aye. Goodman,
Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Brady.
Aye.
The minutes are approved.
Oh,
Old
I got somebody
business.
raising their hand now.
Oh, sorry.
Cam Bortz is raising his hand or her hand, I'm sorry.
All right. If you want to
They're
let them.
I'm asking them to unmute though. Press to unmute again. Cam, are you there? You're still muted. Can you hear us, Cam? No. I don't know if they're experiencing difficulties, but they don't seem to be able to unmute themselves.
Okay. Are they responding back at all, Peter?
No.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I guess I'll keep going unless they can unmute themselves. Cam, if you can hear us, I think the only other advice I can give you is perhaps call a number to call in on the phone. That might be easier for you. All right. And Linda and Peter, had you had any communication from this particular person earlier? No? Okay. All right. Unfortunately, Zoom doesn't work great, and hopefully it will be back
Yeah.
in person very shortly.
Cam is coming on to present a pre-application
Okay.
hearing. I think, I can't quite remember what his application is for, but he was definitely doing a pre-app.
Okay.
So,
So I guess I'll go through the rest of this and see if while we're doing that, he can straighten out his technical difficulties. So old business, we don't have any. New business, we have HDC 21-37 3 Water Street. That was Chelsea's sign. She was supposed to submit the materials that the sign was made from.
Correspondence went out to her and she has not responded back.
Okay.
I'll talk to her because it's literally just wood and paint. So,
Yeah.
I mean, she can write an email, right?
That's all we needed her to do. Yeah.
Some sort of documentation of what it's going to be.
I mean, she's busy, but it'd take 2 seconds.
Thank you, Eric. New business, election of officers. This had fallen off the agenda, so I thought you guys did this when I wasn't around. No, you just tabled it.
I have something that might be worth chatting about after too, just for a minute.
Pardon?
I have something that might be worth chatting about after too, just for a minute, unless you want to do the election or you want to just.
Well, so I feel, oh, Bonnie just joined us. So do we have,
But I thought we
Everybody-
needed Jack and the other new person to do the election.
Sorry, I was having technical difficulties getting in here.
you're not the only one this evening.
I don't know, the link was way different.
Yeah.
Operator error, I'm sure.
I'm sure. I'm a complete idiot. I fully admit it.
I know.
No.
Can anyone hear me now?
Oh,
Oh, Cam, yes, we can hear you.
Oh, excellent.
All right,
Thank you. Sorry about that.
that's all right. So
I have not been on a Zoom meeting before, so my lovely wife is solving my problems for me here.
all
Thank
right.
you for your patience.
No, you're,
I'm representing Allison Kiley from the Daniel Packer,
mhm.
and I included in my application a photograph or printouts of what our design is. It's for signage.
Um,
I
Is-
put that in with the application and was told that would be distributed to panel members.
so who told you that?
The person I gave the application to
Do you
at
remember?
the desk,
Okay.
was at the desk.
Oh,
I
here we
took-
go. Okay, now it's coming up. No, maybe not. I
No,
think
that's not
you're
it.
just scrolling. So,
Yeah, and I also emailed several photographs from the site.
So right now, you're in a pre-application.
Yes.
So normally the pre-application material doesn't get distributed to us. You would
Oh,
bring
okay.
it with you at your pre-application. Are you on a computer?
I'm on the phone.
You're on a phone. Okay. So if electronics were working perfectly, you would be able to share your screen on your computer and show us what you were looking at, or even better, we'd all be together and you could show us what you were trying to show us. But I don't think that we're going to be able to see tonight with our technological limitations what you're trying to show us. So why don't you verbally describe to us what you're trying to do?
Okay, what we're doing is obviously without visual aids, this is going to be difficult. Currently, there is a 4 foot by 5 foot black plywood sign in the front yard, or actually the backyard of the Packer, where it faces Water Street. And we're replacing that with a carved sign that is 4 feet by 48 inches by 42 inches. And it's to be supported on a wooden frame, and inside which the sign itself will be swinging. So that's about as technical as I can get without any visual aids here as to what we're doing.
Where is the sign?
In the location of the existing sign, if you're familiar with it.
Okay.
Peter, can I share my screen?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Hang on a
Let me
second.
see if I can. Oh, you're still sharing. I'm just going to look to see if this is.
Made you co-host. You should be able to know.
What's
I
the sign going to,
apologize for not having this available, but as I haven't done a Zoom meeting before, I kind of had the thought that you guys were going to have this in front of you.
No, that's.
what's the sign going to say?
The Daniel Packer Inn Food and Drink, and it has a ship graphic on it.
So you're just replacing the old sign with the new sign?
Yes.
It's a different style. I think you're having 2 posts coming down instead of the single post, I believe.
No, there's 2 posts now.
Okay, and you're switching it to the single post. Gotcha.
Right.
I remember talking to Tom about this one a little bit.
Just bear with me. My computer screen's big, so I'm trying to make sure you can see it.
Are there going to be any lights or anything like that?
No, we're not changing the lights. There are lights that are currently there, which are it's one ground light that shines up onto it. And there's no plans on changing that. Okay, there you've got a picture of the sign that's there now.
Okay, so right now it's a 2-posted sign and you're going to switch to a 1-post swinging sign.
Right.
Okay. Similar graphics? Are the graphics going to be different?
They're going to be carved graphics. The letter style is different. The graphic with the ship on it is in an oval instead of a rectangle. And the sign has a crown molding on the top that has a dome shape in the center of it, or an arch shape in the center, which contains the word "the" in script. And then below that, it says Captain, and below that, Daniel Packer, below that, Inn.
And is the lighting the same? It's just going to be that one light on the bottom?
Yes.
Okay. And the material is, you may have said it and I didn't hear you. I apologize.
It's wood.
Wood. Okay. All right. Does any commission member have any direction or comment for the applicant based on this information?
I'm having trouble visualizing how one post is going to hold a swinging
Yeah,
sign.
that's a big sign.
Is it gonna have an arm off of it and then the?
No, what it's going to be is there's a square frame. In other words, a single post holds a cross piece, which holds two other verticals and another cross piece above it. If you've been on the Seaport campus, there is a similar structure at the Spouter Inn. This is a very common structure in colonial signs and in British pub signs. So it's unusual for this area simply because it's gone out of date. We're trying to revive it in order to reproduce what would have been a colonial era sign on that in that location, given the age and nature of the building.
Trying to see
Does
if I
that-
can pull
Does
something.
that help?
Did you say at the Seaport?
Yeah,
What's the name of the place at the Seaport?
the Spouter Tavern.
Oh, can I share my, or if you go to mysticseaport.org, visit restaurants, you'll see the sign.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah,
I'll
I
get
can
out.
share my screen
Okay,
if it's.
Yep. I'm done. It's all yours.
Oh, you got a kitty.
I do. It's a free kitty. You guys want 'em. I had this problem last time. It's not letting me.
I think that he has to make you be a co-host.
Sometimes you have to.
No, it's a settings thing.
Oh,
But type in if Sarah, type in Schaefer's Spouter Tavern, Mystic Seaport, and then you'll see like a bunch of people on a
Oh, okay. I see
and
it.
then scroll down to 19th century taverns.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. You might see all yourselves too, but
There you go,
there it is.
right here.
Can everyone see that?
no.
All right. Let me try it a
Very
different way.
Tiny.
Or-
Yep. It's because of
I
my.
was gonna say, if you just make the screen bigger.
Yeah, I
Well-
saw it there. I could see it for a moment there.
Here. Oh, there we go. Okay. How about that?
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, it's underneath it like a one poster. I got it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm building is similar to that, not exactly, but similar to that.
Cool.
It looks pretty neat.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I
That's
like it.
very, very cool.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm just going to stop sharing because I can't see anybody unless people want to look at it a little longer.
No, that's enough.
Okay. Okay.
Tell us how you really feel, Todd.
Got it. Totally got it, you know.
So Cam, I don't have any cosmetic feedback on the sign. I just think for your application, and you may have already submitted it, you need your application, the GIS map, what it's made of, what it's going to look like.
Yeah,
all
all that
those
was, all that I've submitted.
Okay.
I
right.
submitted that last week.
Excellent.
So you just might want to verify with, with the Tom Santorini that he has everything that you submitted and that it's ready to be, posted at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments or feedback for the applicant?
No, it looks good.
I like that style.
All right. Very good. Thank you,
Yeah,
Pam.
the sign is intended to be, extremely traditional for the period.
Looks great. All right. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Peter,
Bless
can
you.
you toss that agenda back unless it's just me and I can't see it? All right, so election of officers. Do we want to do this? Do we want to table this? What do we want to do?
Can we do it without Leonard and the other new person who was elected?
I think only Max. I think Max is the only one that isn't here.
On the call, I think.
Pardon?
I think it's just Max that's missing.
Oh,
Yeah, Max is the only one missing.
okay.
Who actually votes? Just the 5 voting members who are
Yeah.
empaneled?
Is, to my understanding, that's correct. Yes,
But anyone can chime in.
of course.
The gang's all here. I say go for it.
Okay, what do we want to do?
I nominate Sarah to be chairwoman.
Second.
Third.
Four.
Fourth, fifth, no, I'm not a panel member.
All right. Do we want to do them individually or do we want to do them across the board? Because we need a vice chair.
Who was the vice chair? Oh, was it Mark?
Heather was vice chair.
Oh,
I'll do
prefer
it. If no one
that.
wants- I'll do it if no one wants to do it, but I don't really have a strong opinion. So
I nominate Eric to be vice chair.
I second.
All right. Secretary,
I nominate Todd Brady to be secretary.
second.
we love change.
My only, just a procedural question, should Bill be doing it or should we go to the regular members for the 5?
I nominate Todd for secretary. So
Okay, there we go. All right, so we have myself as chair, Eric as vice chair, and Todd as secretary. That's the panel that's being nominated at the moment. All right,
Bill's cat.
Any other
any other nominations on the floor before we vote on these? All right, so for that panel, I'll do a roll call. Goodman,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Nault,
oh, aye. I thought I wasn't voting. Sorry.
to do a belt and suspenders, I'm gonna call on you and Ferguson just in case I mix up procedure. Brady,
Aye.
Ferguson,
Aye.
Moriarty, aye. All right, we have a new board and I think it's a record, July 20th.
Yay!
That's early for us. That's early.
That's very early for us. We usually wait till December.
Yeah.
I think we're the bane of Linda's existence. All right, any other new business?
I just had one comment. So last Tuesday, I don't have all the specifics, but the Planning and Zoning Board voted to change a lot of their regulations, including a lot that had an impact on the historic district or the downtown district. Some of the changes went into more aesthetic pieces, and I don't have them all in front of me, but I guess I'm a little frustrated because there was an email that went out saying as a courtesy referral, but there wasn't enough information in there to really dive into it unless we were going to specifically, which I didn't do. So shame on me. But they have done a lot, which is going to make any change down there significantly more difficult. So I thought it's just something that we should all be aware of.
Eric, is this different than the big planning and zoning change that the study that they did for 2 years?
This is a whole series of
Reversed a lot of
amendments to
stuff.
that, those regs.
Right, so they rewrote it in October of 2019.
Yeah, that's when it went into effect.
That's when it became effective. And then they amended a good portion of it. But specifically, I think, targeted certain things, one of them being the historic district. So height, public spaces, there were some other pieces, Todd, that I think,
Parking.
yeah.
What's driving these amendments?
The Planning and Zoning Commission,
I mean, why?
because that's their ilk.
I think, unfortunately, from my opinion, and having done a lot of research when we proposed the building, it seems like they took a lot of steps forward to help change and spur growth, and now they're taking many steps backwards. And at least from the research that I had done and what we went through, it would seem extremely difficult for any change to occur on most any parcel in the downtown district.
Boy,
And more
that's
so,
very upsetting to hear.
I think that one of the issues, I think, is that in certain revamping and amendments, they're not really taking into account the nature and composition of the historic district, which, in other words, if you applied the current regs to the downtown Mystic, you couldn't build a vast majority of the buildings today. You could not comply with the new zoning regs. And I won't get into any details except to say, for example, that if they at Factory Square, if Margaritas were to now vacate their space, I would no longer be able to put apartments in there because I couldn't meet the requirements. And if Margaritas, which is 8,500 square feet this is not an HDC issue, it's just a practical issue, but Margaritas is 8,500 square feet on 3 floors. Unless you found another restaurant that wanted to operate in that kind of a difficult environment, I would not be able to put parking spaces in because they no longer allow you to use off-site parking, even if fully leased, towards your parking requirements. And Factory Square is relied upon its own parking plus 111 spaces in the Mystic Museum of Art for 30 or 40 years. And you no longer can use those spaces for residential uses depending on the density of your property. And Factory Square has never even met the density requirements that are currently imposed since it was built as with residential. So it's just a little troubling because the whole purpose of the rewrite of the zoning regs, which took 2 years, was to make Groton
2 years, try 4 or
whatever it was, but it was to make Groton more open and welcoming to development, in part to create more housing opportunities, because over 80% of the people who work in Groton do not live in Groton. And there currently is a huge shortfall of, for example, apartments. And very few, if any, of the proposed projects in Groton have actually gone through the approval process. They I think, get hung up trying to comply with certain requirements. They've changed certain grading requirements. I mean, they basically have made it more difficult.
Oh, it's so upsetting to hear.
Can I ask a question out of ignorance, Eric and Todd in particular, since you guys seem well versed in it? Have they made the Historic District Commission outdated with these regulations? Because maybe I misheard you, Eric, but it sounded like it overlapped a lot of some of the things that we are looking for.
Well,
and maybe I misheard you. I don't want
to. No, I think you're right. But what you're saying is correct. I just don't think it's as deep as, essentially pushing us aside. But I do think that, they've gone to advocate for specific roof styles. They've changed the height requirements. So you're stuck at essentially 2 stories now, if you can even get that out of it. It's kind of like they just stepped way backwards. And the thing is there's not a lot of parcels that are in that downtown district that would have allowed any sort of significant development under, to Todd's point, under the new regulations, 2019. But even more so, the few that would have allowed for anything now are essentially going to be stuck. And my whole point always from day one, back to our building, was that you need to allow for mass in the district for two reasons, because mass allows quality materials if the developer does it right, but it also prevents sprawl, which is what occurred in Nantucket and some other towns where you had a dense town center, and as it became more touristy and built up and everything that I think we want, or the town wants, you're then going to see people who can't develop in that tight district start to push out into residential neighborhoods, and you're going to have Spicer Mansion 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is tough because I think we all live pretty close to downtown, where I wouldn't want to see that up on my street, but I do like it downtown. So I think that tight community in that small area isn't a bad thing, but I think preventing that is going to force people to say, I want to cash in on Mystic, but I'm now going to do it, up on Library Street at a house, and I'll just figure out a way to get it done. So, I mean, I can't guarantee that, but that's, to me, it seems, almost hand in hand with what occurred in other places.
Yeah, when you increase the mandates for open space and everything else, which I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, but this is a quasi-urban environment, I mean, there isn't, you're supposed to now provide you're supposed to provide your parking on site, and you're supposed to provide more open space. And so it becomes very difficult to achieve those objectives, except by shrinking down, say, the footprint or size of your building. And then you run into issues which are not planning and zoning issues per se, nor are they HDC issues, but it becomes an issue of economic vitality, or your ability to build something that has enough, can accommodate enough uses or people or apartments or whatever to pay for itself.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way we could have used the materials we used, which I think everyone recognizes as, above average, if we had not gotten the mass on the project. It's just, it wouldn't have made sense. That extra fourth floor, gave us the ability to spend the money where we wanted to show it off. I mean, I could have saved 80 grand and not done copper gutters, but we wanted to do it because it was the right thing to do. But if you strip the floor off, I'm not sure what we would have done. I'm not sure the model would have worked. So, and I think you're going to see that even on smaller projects, people are going to focus more on cheaper materials, especially today as things have really gone through the roof, no pun intended, to try to get something done and save a buck. And I think we're going to see that coming to us more, which is not the things that we're trying to, enforce and propose or cause people to choose. I hope it's not the case, but I don't see how it would be anything different. But the real question is can we even do anything, or are we stuck?
I think so I knew of the changes. I haven't reviewed all of them. The choice of style on a roof is a new one to me. I didn't see that one. I certainly think if they're overreaching there, that perhaps a letter to the commission requesting an explanation of why is really all that we can do. As commission members, I certainly planned on, is a citizen of Groton to, try to figure out why this is going backwards and figure out what to do. But as a commission member here, I think those are the only things that we can glom onto is potential overreaching on what it is that we do. And, I think style of roof is certainly one of those things.
So maybe if no one objects, maybe let me put a list together of the things that I reread it. I'm going to reread it again this week. Let me give you a list of things that I think are either marginal or overreaching, and then you can decide if you want to address it.
Yeah, I would appreciate that, Eric.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That is above and beyond. Thank you.
I mean, you can't do much else because the planning and zoning doesn't even work for the town council. They were independent.
Right.
I mean, I'm not advocating by any means like opening the floodgates, far, far from it. And I think I've said that over and over again for the years. If nothing's going to work, I mean, what do you want to do? Go back to 2009 with half the shops empty and
Right.
my generation running out of town to find a job somewhere? Like that wasn't fun for
No.
anyone.
No. Half-built buildings, most of them
Yeah.
vacant. So,
I'd like to bring one other thing up. This is separate. Can we start meeting
In person?
in person?
Yeah.
I know I've talked to some of the members of planning and development. And this, there's this sort of yin yang thing between some people who say, there was something in the day about it recently about, well, the advantage of these Zoom meetings is that more of the public can participate and they can attend these meetings without coming down to the planning.
Yeah,
department,
I asked Peter about that, and Peter, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that the hangup was we can certainly begin meeting in person soon. The only issue is I guess the town believes that we still need to provide an opportunity to those who are concerned about meeting in person, a platform for them to participate in Zoom. And I think that the only room that we can do that in is the room that the town council meets. And I think that they were working those details out.
Correct. That's what they were doing. They were trying to square away the town hall, so they had the ability to offer that service. And so I haven't received an update of, I mean, it was in the works. IT was supposed to be squaring away and getting it set up, and I haven't heard anything.
So you could have a hybrid meeting, Peter.
Correct. So people have the opportunity, if they're still concerned, they can stay remote and participate.
If
Because
the town council room was available, we could be in person,
Correct.
but there's almost always a meeting there when we meet.
Right, exactly. So they're trying to set up the other rooms for the same ability.
You can't just do a speakerphone. I mean, does it have to be Zoom?
That's something to take up with people above me.
I'm just
We
saying.
use at our board, for the real estate board, a thing called OWL. I don't know what they're using in the town council room. And it's money, that's all. It costs money. You gotta set it up.
I
They
just,
probably don't have one in all the rooms.
I just personally believe, less so with the HDC, but maybe with some of the other commissions, that I think there's a big difference between testifying to a bunch of faces on camera and actually being in a room and being able to speak to an assembled board or commission as one group. And I think that it forces the people on the commission to be somewhat more responsive as opposed to sitting at home and watching on a screen. I just don't think it is a great example, a great democratic way to proceed in terms of an exchange of ideas or whatever. That's all.
I agree.
Like I said, I think they're just trying to comply with the statutory language that came out on it,
Yeah.
about how to handle these public hearings.
So hopefully soon. And on that note, just a reminder that I will not be here on August 3rd.
And as will I not be here on August 3rd.
All right.
Does that mean I have to run it? I need that.
Yes.
Peter,
That's why we elected you tonight.
That's
just for
right.
that very reason.
That's right.
waited one meeting.
Congratulations.
All right.
Can I just ask for clarification? So I'm getting a lot of people coming up to me about that Bank of America building. What is the actual, they were pulled by planning and zoning and bonded, correct? For 6 months to change what
To
they didn't
comply.
really, or to comply, sorry.
Right.
Is that the right terms and right verbiage and right messaging?
Yeah, from Bruce was the planner on that one, and from talking with him, he says, yeah, he's supposed to be getting rhododendrons in place of those. So that's got to be done, but he gave him the 6 months so he can get up and running and at least get through the summer.
Okay.
So he can at least start operating the business.
I mean,
So-
is he gonna do
Yes,
the-
Bill, I would say that's the right phrase or the right terminology when someone challenges you on, why it looks like it does.
Right.
Say that we've addressed it to the town, the town's made him be bonded, he needs to comply within 6 months. And
Okay,
hopefully he
thank
will.
So is he gonna change the fence and do the trash enclosure? Because that's the one thing that I keep hearing is the trash in the back.
I believe he actually started working on that because I think he poured a concrete pad in the back for that.
Okay.
How about the issue that Eric brought up last time about the speakers attached to the outside of the building?
I sent an email to Tom recently and I got his out of office reply. I don't think he's in. I don't think he'll be back till,
Tomorrow. he gets back
Monday?
in the office. No, tomorrow he gets back in the office.
okay, so I'll just follow back up with him on that.
I mean, I will say at least he turned it down and the choice of music is a little less aggressive.
Mhm.
But Bill, in other words, what with the bond is the guarantee that he will comply and make the improvements that he promised he would.
Right.
Right.
No, I just want to make sure I was using the proper terminology and not misquoting or misrepresenting what he's going through. That's all.
But I guess that's a good question though. Even though he has the 4 years to complete the HTC or HTC approved items, if he doesn't complete them in 6 months and that bond expires, you're going to revoke a CO.
Well, I think the bond is for the town to then make the improvements on his behalf
Right.
Or you revoke the CO,
or that.
right? I just want to make sure they're going to be done. That's all.
Mhm.
In one fashion or another.
All right. Anything else? All right. Then I move to adjourn.
Thanks.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Bye, sorry I was late.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.